Ms. Lambert, I'm obviously you have as good understanding and knowledge of the Jordanian situation as anyone, and I'm impressed with that here. I'm also impressed with your strong view on normalization with the Assad regime. It's dicey, as you know, because when we talk with the Arabs, they are soft on the issue. They think this has gone on long enough, and that normalization would be good for the region and for themselves, which frankly you can understand. Having said that, I think we're a little more neutral on it, and looking what Assad has done over the years is stunning. He falls in the same category as Hitler, Putin, and himself, and some others that have done some pretty bad things. I hope you will continue to give that strong statement that you have. I think that you heard the chairman. He and I share the same view on that. That this is just simply not acceptable to the United States. These countries are going to have to deal with it as they see appropriate, but it's going to cause nothing but difficulties with us if they try to cozy up to this guy that can't possibly be accepted into normalcy after what he's done. One of the things that another concern we have as far as Jordan is concerned is I know that you played a leading role in the Negev Forum, and that which grew out of the Abraham Accords, and we're concerned that Jordan doesn't have the warm embrace maybe that it should. What are your thoughts on that?
First of all, Senator, let me just reiterate on Syria. I'm in complete agreement with you and the chairman, and as you have heard from the Secretary of State, U.S. policy on Syria and on normalization with the Assad regime will not change. With regard to your question about Jordan-Israel relations, I would note that the peace treaty between Jordan and Israel has been a pillar of regional stability for the past 30 years. There is a strong relationship, a relationship that's not without its strains, like all relationships, but one that, if confirmed, I will work to strengthen and advance. And part of that would be encouraging Jordan to participate in, among other regional integration efforts, the Negev Forum, which, as you rightly point out, is building upon the historic Abraham Accords in creating an unprecedented multilateral framework of Israel and its regional partners focused on further cementing and advancing peace. It makes all kinds of sense for Jordan to be there. Jordan is the second Arab country that signed a peace treaty with Israel, and I will continue to encourage them to do so, just as I have in my current position.
Well, I really appreciate that. The other thing I think from a domestic standpoint in Jordan, the chairman I think outlined as clearly as possible the warm relationship we enjoy with the king. Obviously, because of the demographics in the country, that's not shared by everyone in the country. And I don't know if you have thoughts on how we can ratchet that up. Obviously, he's in a better position than we are to advance it. But do you have any thoughts on that?
I'm sorry, Senator. Do you mean in advancing strengthening the U.S.?
Our Jordanians' view of us. I mean, we do a lot for them, but I'm not sure it's fully appreciated there by the masses.
Senator, if confirmed, I can tell you that that's going to be a top priority for me, working with our embassy team, getting out and about in Jordan, explaining the role that the United States has played in supporting the Jordanian people. And I want to get the news out about that as much as possible as we work with our Jordanian partners.
I appreciate that. Mr. Brown, you've got a heavy lift. There are things happening in Ecuador that indicate the country's headed in the wrong direction. As you probably know, their cocoa crop was at an all-time high of 500,000 acres in the last crop. this is not a good sign, because obviously that the greater the drug problem, the greater the problem it is for us, for democracy in the country and everything else. And we've seen some awful examples of this on the continent. What are your thoughts on this?
Senator, thank you for the question. If you're referring to the transport of cocaine from narco-trafficking networks from Colombia and from Peru, the country is really being impacted. There's no doubt about that. But with U.S. intervention over the past year, Ecuador has been able to seize more cocaine tonnage than it's ever done. 2022 had record seizure, but there's so much more that needs to be done. The instability that's being created in the communities where drug trafficking has taken over, especially in some of the coastal communities, it is a problem. So if I'm confirmed as ambassador, I want to use a whole of government approach, working throughout the interagency, something I've done throughout my career, to sort of figure out strategically how to engage in these communities, to work with the government and those local communities it's not about just seizing cocaine being transported, and it's not just about arresting corrupt people that are involved in narco trafficking, but it's also about dealing with some of the root problems of why young people are choosing illicit crime and committing these acts, and working with the government on that. So you have my firm commitment to help reduce crime and violence that's going on in Ecuador at the moment.
Well said. I would say that the record seizures are probably the result of record production, so that would explain that. I think, again, your focus on that is absolutely critical, because obviously it's a huge problem for Ecuador itself, but every ounce of that leaves the country is a huge problem for the U.S. of A. So thank you for willing to serve there, and I hope you'll focus on it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you,
Senator